Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Jen and Jen is going to talk about the Netherlands. What to expect when you visit the country and where you can go and what is actually not true. So the Netherlands is mostly known for their capital city, Amsterdam, and also for a few other things you find in Amsterdam, including drugs and prostitution. Now, drugs is not necessarily legal at the moment from what I understood, but it's tolerated and laid between bounds and laws to make it more difficult, I would say. The whole thing is a bit vague for me. I don't really keep track of it, especially since I don't have anything to do with it necessarily. But it's good to know beforehand. Other thing you should know is that the most people that smoke weed in the Netherlands are not Dutch, they're tourists, and you'll be surprised by the amount of people you'll see smoking weed nationality-wise. Then we also have the prostitution. Prostitution in the Netherlands is legalized, mostly for the reason so it's easier to keep a bit track of it and control and like prevent human trafficking mostly. They even have a union from what I understood. It was very vague. But yeah, we have legalized prostitution. Amsterdam has their own red light district. I've never really been there, but I do know people who have, mostly out of curiosity how it looks like. And during the day it's actually a regular street. You don't really notice that much about it, but during the evening it's basically naked women in a window. Also, one thing I know is that what you shouldn't do is take pictures of these women. I'm not really sure if it's allowed or not, but I just don't do it. Not a good idea. Also, something you'll notice on the streets in the Netherlands is everybody bikes. There are tons of bikes all over the place. Not necessarily only one person on it either. You can easily see a mom with 4 kids on the bike, and that's normal. We bike to everything. Biking is our main source of transportation. And even in Amsterdam, the amount of cars will be still high, but you'll see more bikes than cars. There are different things you can see in the Netherlands, not only in Amsterdam, also outside of Amsterdam. Do advise that if you can order tickets for like special things or musea beforehand, definitely do that, because the popular attractions give long lines and you don't want to fall in that trap, because you can waste a whole day on this. Now, there are some places you might want to visit outside of Amsterdam. Since we have several major cities within reach of Amsterdam with public transport and train, you could go to different places. You shouldn't have to worry about a language issue going to another place, because nearly everybody in the Netherlands speaks perfectly fine English, and you can always ask nearly everybody for help and for directions. It's fairly easy to also travel around. We have a chip card you can buy for €7.50, and you charge it up with money, and then you can basically go anywhere with public transport. Make sure you check in and check out, because you pay for the distance you go. So it's not just you check in and you can go for like 90 minutes around wherever you want. Nope, you pay for your distance. Some people think it's expensive, some people think it's an okay price. Personally, I think it's better that you pay for your distance compared to, for example, where I live, where I pay per like 90 minutes, even though I have like a 30-minute trip. So I pay more than what I maybe actually am traveling. Some things you want to remember is that the Dutch are direct and not rude necessarily. You might perceive it as rude, but we're very direct and we say what's on our mind. So don't really get offended by this. either. Most people on the street will probably say hi to you. This is a very common thing. They give you a smile, say hi, and like nothing big, nothing special, maybe a bit small talk. People will talk to you randomly and just being friendly or just looking for conversation. This is very common and something you'll see a lot. Some of the things you might want to also be aware of is that in Amsterdam everything is super expensive. Drinks cost a lot of money, and going out in Amsterdam is expensive in general. Sometimes it's better to go to the other cities. For example, if you want to go out or clubbing, the experience stays quite similar, but when you go to the other cities, you probably meet more locals compared to tourists. So the tourist-local ratio is different. The other big cities I would say that you should visit, for example, are Utrecht, Rotterdam, and The Hague. These are basically the 4 major cities in the Netherlands. Utrecht is mostly a student city. I myself went to close to Utrecht to study, and Rotterdam city is where I'm from, and that is mostly a working city, but also has a lot of places for tourists to go to and to see. It's also a harbor city where there's a lot of trade, and you'll see a lot of boats. Basically, it's not even next to the coast, but it has the biggest harbor in Europe. And then lastly, we have The Hague. The Hague is the city where our government is located, and also our king is located in that area. And this is basically the city next to the coast, so you can also go there to see the sea and be on the beach. Do keep in mind, this place is popular, very expensive. Again, all the popular places are really expensive, but sometimes it's nicer to go to another place that is less popular and still nice to see, even though it is maybe not, for example, like Amsterdam, impressive. The Dutch people have a very rich heritage regarding, for example, Amsterdam and Utrecht. You'll see very old architecture, and you see channels. In Rotterdam city, sadly, you miss some of these characteristic things because sadly in the World War II, the city was bombed, so we have lost a lot of old buildings in this area. Still, instead, it is a very modern city with also some older buildings, but not as much compared to the other two. The Hague is also quite an old city with rich history. I think most big cities in the Netherlands have a very rich history, but Amsterdam has the richest, and also is known for having several amazing museums, including the Van Gogh Museum and the National Museum, and it's definitely a visit worth, including the palace, the Dom, which I'm not sure when you can visit this place. I have visited it, but it's definitely, you should go in if you can. There are times that it's being used by the king and the queen, but besides those periods you can enter it, and there is an entry fee. It's not crazy expensive, but it's really impressive to see the inside, and it's cold. So keep something warmer with you, because this place is not really known for their heaters, I would say, definitely. Also, another thing you should keep in mind in the Netherlands is, especially in Amsterdam, keep an eye on your bags, on your wallet, on your phone. Pickpocketing is not rare at all, and even Dutch people need to be very careful for getting their things stolen in Amsterdam. Scamming you'll find on the streets too, especially regarding drugs. This is very common. There have been incidents with tourists in the hospital because of it, and my advice is stick to the coffee shops when you want to smoke weed or use some drugs. Go there, because these people know what they're doing, and it's by government controlled and checked also. Now that we come to the coffee shops, that's one of the things. In the Netherlands, a coffee shop is not a place where you drink coffee. It's your drugstore. If you want to drink coffee, go to a cafe. This is very important. Don't ask on a Sunday morning for a coffee shop somebody who just came out of church. They'll like that one. They will not like it at all. If you want a coffee, ask for cafes. Strictly, keep it on cafes. I think this is most of the things you can expect. Everything is very highly organized and fast-paced. So you'll see people running around a lot. That's normal, actually. So, be careful for the bikes. You can rent a bike, and there are special biking lanes, so keep that in mind. Use the biking lane, not the sidewalk, and try to walk on the sidewalks and on the biking lanes, because there are tons of people biking around and they will hit you if you are on the wrong lanes. So very careful when traveling, and keep in mind Dutch people bike a lot. And I hope you will enjoy your trip to the Netherlands, and I hope that there might be some stories you guys want to share with me about my home country and how you have experienced it. Even if it's good, even if it's bad, or even good stories, it's all fine with me. I'm always curious to hear stories. Of course, no place is perfect. The Netherlands has their own flaws, and a lot of people need time to get used to how organized it is and how fast-paced it is. And also, a lot of people can't deal with the directness we have. It's very difficult for some people who are not used to it. But do understand, this is how we are, and it's not to be rude. It's just that we like to be honest, and we like to speak our minds. And I think I'll quit our video for today with this one. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.